Welcome to the I Told My Story YouTube channel. I am Leora. I want to tell you about the event that turned our lives upside down. It all started with the video my sister Cassia posted on her Instagram account. That morning when I woke up, my phone was constantly getting notifications. When I opened it, my social media account was flooded with comments. Your sister is a total bully. Being rich doesn't give you the right to belittle people. Is that how your dad treats his employees? Those were the kinds of comments I saw. To understand what was going on, I immediately opened Instagram. The night before, during a big party at our house, my sister got really angry when one of our maids accidentally spilled soda on her. The footage of Cassia yelling at and scolding our employee had gone viral. One of her friends at the party had shared the video, and it had been viewed millions of times. When I went downstairs, my dad's phone was ringing non-stop. My dad looked pale. Cassia was sitting at the table with her usual indifferent attitude, laughing while messing with her phone. It was as if she didn't even care about the chaos she had caused. I said, "Cassia, I don't know if you realize it, but the whole country is talking about you right now." "Yeah, I know. Isn't it great? How wonderful. I'm gaining new followers," she said. My sister with a carefree attitude. Dad angrily, "Cassia, stop being so indifferent already. The company's shares have started to drop due to your thoughtless video. Please be more careful from now on." Cassia rolled her eyes, and with a mocking smile, she said, "Dad, don't overdo it. Everyone will forget in 3 days. Is it important to me the stocks are going down?" she said. My dad took a deep breath, lowered his shoulders, and softly replied, "Of course, it's not more important than you, my daughter," he said, but couldn't finish the sentence. The only reason Cassia was this spoiled was actually my dad. My sister looked a lot like my mom, and ever since we lost her 5 years ago, my dad had been overly attached to Cassia. Whatever she wanted, he would instantly say yes to absolutely everything. He just couldn't say no to her. That's why Cassia had gotten used to getting whatever she wanted and had turned into a spoiled and careless person. That day, on the way to school, Cassia was sipping her favorite milkshake as usual. While we were sitting quietly in the car, it suddenly hit a pothole hard, and some of the milkshake spilled on my sister. "What the hell are you doing? Watch where you're going!" Cassia shouted. Her face red with anger, glared furiously at the driver. Our driver, Eldon, began apologizing in embarrassment. "I'm really sorry, Ms. Cassia. I really didn't see the pothole." I couldn't stand seeing him so embarrassed, so I stepped in to calm things down. "Cassia, please calm down. Eldon didn't do it on purpose." But before I could finish my sentence, Cassia snapped at me. "Did I ask you, Leora? And stop trying to be everyone's lawyer, okay?" I suddenly went silent. My sister's anger was senseless and cruel. That evening at dinner, my father was very quiet. He hadn't taken a single bite of his food. Cassia, on the other hand, started teasing Dad without a care. "What's wrong, Dad? Is it just because the company's shares dropped a little? Is that why you're so upset? Don't forget you're one of the richest businessmen in the country." My father lifted his head. He spoke in a sad voice. "Cassia, it's not about money or shares. What you did is not right, sweetheart. Please, just try to be more careful." Cassia's face suddenly tensed with anger. She stood up abruptly and turned to me. "Come on, Leora. Let's go eat at the burger place. I don't want to eat here tonight." It was obvious from my face that I didn't want to go. I looked at my dad. "Leora, you go too with your sister. Don't leave her alone." He said it helplessly. I nodded, and reluctantly, I stood up from the table. Once again, I had to go along with my sister's decisions. We sat down at a table at the burger place and started eating. After taking a big bite of her burger, my sister suddenly started yelling. "What is this? There's mayonnaise in this!" I said, "Sis, you didn't say not to put mayonnaise in it," trying to stay calm. She said, "No, I did say it. You're remembering it wrong," and quickly stood up and went over to the girl working there. "There's mayonnaise in this, and I don't eat mayonnaise. Change this immediately." The employee, with a calm expression, said, "Ma'am, you didn't say not to add mayonnaise when placing the order, so we included it as part of the standard." Cassia, getting even more furious, snapped, "What do you mean? You're not going to change it?" The girl calmly responded, "No, because you didn't make such a request to us. If you'd like, we can check the security footage." My sister completely lost control at that response and started yelling. "My dad is one of the richest men in the country. I'll tell him to buy this place. And do you know what the first thing I'll do on the day he buys it? I'll have you fired." The entire restaurant fell into silence. I wanted to sink into the ground from embarrassment. My sister had completely crossed the line by now. After the incident at the burger joint, the store manager shared the security footage on social media. Everyone who saw the video started talking about Cassia. My sister was getting dragged way worse than before. This time the comments and shares were even more ruthless. My dad's company stocks had tanked, and the situation was much more serious. The next morning when I came down for breakfast, my dad wasn't home. I had a bad feeling inside. This time Dad is really going to be mad, I said in a nervous voice. Cassia shrugged indifferently. Leora, what's the big deal? In a few days, everyone will forget again and the company will go back to its old value. After school, I went straight out to the company. My dad was in a meeting. While I was waiting for him, I started chatting with his secretary. The worry on the woman's face caught my attention right away. Leora, the company's situation is really bad. Your father was preparing to take out a large loan to keep the company afloat, but because of the recent events, the banks no longer want to give him a loan, she said, in a sad voice. I was honestly shocked by what the woman said. Because of my sister's reckless actions, our company was on the verge of bankruptcy. I walked toward the hallway and just barely made it into the elevator before the doors closed. Inside, there were two men I didn't recognize. They didn't seem bothered by my presence. They continued talking heatedly among themselves. One of them smiled and said to the other, "Now we finished the job. There's no turning back now." The other nodded and added, "Exactly, this time it's definitely over." The first man chuckled softly. Well, when you have a daughter like that, things just work themselves out. My heart started racing again, but I couldn't quite understand what they were saying. I didn't know who they were talking about or what was over. The vague words in their cryptic conversation had completely confused me. When I got home, Cassia was snacking in the kitchen. I approached her in a shaky voice, saying, "I came from Dad's company and the news is terrible. Because of you. The company is on the verge of collapse," I said. Cassia looked at me in shock and replied, "Don't be ridiculous, Leora. You're exaggerating." I said, "If you don't believe me, call Dad's secretary and ask for yourself." My voice was steady now. It wasn't trembling anymore. Cassia's expression slowly changed. After a few seconds of silence, she shot me a sharp, angry look. At that moment, I couldn't take it anymore. And for the first time, I yelled at my sister in anger. "Because of your spoiled behavior, Dad's company is going under!" Cassia stood up angrily and stormed out of the room without saying a word. I was left alone in the kitchen, not knowing what to do. That evening, Dad came home very late. Cassia didn't come out of her room at all. As for me, I had fallen asleep alone on the couch in the living room. In the morning, Eldon was driving us to school. Cassia and I didn't say a word. The silence was getting to me, so I pulled out my phone and started scrolling to distract myself. A news article popped up. A famous businessman is at a crucial loan meeting today. Seeing the men next to my dad in the photo, my heart sank. They were the ones I met in the elevator. I said, "Eldon, can you take me to my father's company?" Cassia looked at me curiously. "Miss Leora, what about your school?" Eldon asked. I said, "Going to the company is way more important than school." Then I looked at Cassia angrily and turned my eyes back to the window. When I arrived at the company, my dad's secretary greeted me with surprise. "Miss Leora, your father is currently in a meeting with his partners." Without listening to her, I opened the door and walked in. My dad was shocked when he saw me, and I was surprised to see my dad's business partners standing in front of me, because they were the men who were talking in the elevator yesterday. "Leora, sweetheart, could you please step outside? We're having an important meeting with our new partners." I looked at my dad's face. "Dad, they might not remember, but we were in the same elevator with these gentlemen yesterday." "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "Dad, these two men are trying to bring you down. They are also the ones who made Cassia's videos go viral on social media. I heard what they were talking about in the elevator yesterday with my own ears. Since they didn't recognize me, they spoke freely next to me." At that moment, one of the men jumped in, clearly panicked. "Mr. Thane, the young lady must have misunderstood. We didn't talk about anything like that." I said, "Then let's check the elevator's security footage." Hearing this, the two men panicked and ran out of the room. My father, on the other hand, watched everything unfold in astonishment. Then he came over to me and hugged me tightly. "My dear daughter, you saved me from those bad men?" Leaning against my father's chest, I responded, filled with peace. "If we're good people, Daddy, the company will naturally save itself. What matters is doing the right thing." From that day on, my father started listening to me more. He no longer turned a blind eye to Cassia's tantrums either. Meanwhile, my dream had finally come true. We had established a food foundation for the homeless. After school each day, I would go there to distribute food and help the staff. For the first time, I truly felt like I was making a difference. One day while I was handing out food, Cassia showed up. "Leora, can I help too?" she said. It was the first time we had spoken. We looked into our eyes filled with tears, then we hugged and cried. From that day on, we started going to the Food Foundation together after school. One day, a well-known influencer came to visit us. While Cassia and I were handing out food side by side, they took a photo of us and shared it on Instagram. The photo went viral in a short time. The whole country applauded us. My dad's stocks also started to rise again with this good news. But for us, the real reward was being able to touch people's hearts.